So in this video, we're going to go over some of the slightly more exotic tools for freeform modeling. Specifically, we're going to go over something called proxy modeling. But before we get into proxy modeling is related to smoothing models and subdividing them. So I'm going to do a little refresher on that and how we'll subdivide this model here. So we've gone over this before. There's multiple ways to subdivide a model. You can go over here into the inputs, and we could type in numbers in here. We can subdivide it there. And you can type in all kinds of numbers. So we can type in 10. Okay, so you can add subdivisions. Okay, so that exists there. Okay, it also, we can go over here into the attribute editor, and you can go over to this tab here, and you can also type in numbers here. Okay, and it comes in here. So, you have controls for this here as well. Okay, so we can do that. And then over here in the modeling toolkit, there's also, you can do add divisions. Okay, or you can smooth as well. Okay, you can use before. And these also exist up here. So you'll have them up here in Mesh Smooth. We do the same exact thing here, just we're getting the same tool, but we're getting it from the pull-down menu here. Okay. And you can also go in here too, and you can add divisions as well. So you can find all these tools all over the place. Okay. So that's the basics of subdividing. Basically, if you wanted to smooth the object, and you could give it 4. Some nice resolution to it. The grid for this lesson here. Okay, but there's something else we can do here. Let me go over smoothing first from this aspect of it. Okay, so we'll go over here. So now if we go down to smooth, the one downside of the modeling toolkit is you don't get any of the option boxes on these things. So you just get the basic tool. But when you go to the pull downs, you get a little more sophistication for things. So you can go over here to the option box, and this will give you a whole bunch of things in here. Like you can actually control like all kinds of things in here. Like we can serve edges, we can keep sharp edges. We could tell it how many we want right here. I want 4 subdivisions on this thing, right? Fine. Okay. I want that. Okay. You could change its kind of subdivision type. This is very technical stuff. Like I said, you can preserve edges. There's all kinds of little extra things in here. Okay. And then as you get more sophisticated with my modeling, you can you'll start getting more deeply into some of these things here. Okay. All right. So on this one, we don't really need any of this, but I just want to show it to you here because it's going to be used in the next tool. Okay. And the next tool is related to smoothing. I'm going to close. This tool isn't used that much, but it's pretty powerful. So over here, instead of our smooth tool, you go to smooth proxy. Now I'll have to explain what this does, but this has got some intro. I'm just going to do it by default to start with, just so you can see what's going on. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to flip over here. I'm actually going to open up my channel box and my layer editor. Okay, and watch what goes on over here. You're going to see some new layers in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it. I'm going to go to Mesh. I'm going to smooth proxy. I'm going to do Proxy Subdividing. Now this is interesting. Look at this. So what's happened here is it smoothed the object, but it also gave me this lattice framework. And I'll show you what happens here in a minute. So I can't pick the sphere in there, but I can pick this cube. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our modeling toolkit, and I'm going to click on vertices, right? So it won't allow me to pick that sphere in there, which is my actual object. But I'm going to pick on these vertices here, okay? And I'm going to move them with my typical move tools, right? I'm going to move it out, I'm going to move this up. Now look at that. This is what we call proxy modeling. So let me go back here. This, as you see, I have two layers here. One is P cube 1, which is the cube itself. And this is the smooth mesh. This is the mesh that got smooth. And then this thing here, you'll see there's a layer here that says proxy mesh. This object here is the proxy. Right? So if I move this, it's controlling that by proxy. Okay? And you can do anything with these. And these are a nice way to control things. Because it's a lot easier to pick on these kind of lower resolution cages and kind of, get some form going here. Now, this doesn't work very well for precision modeling, but if you're roughing out some forms or you want to, just do something, abstract or something with a lot of these smooth kind of forms, this is really good. If you're trying to model a face with this, it might get a little trickier. All right. Now let me put a new scene, and I'm going to just create another cube here. Okay. Zoom in on it, and I'm going to go into the Proxy dialog box. Now, don't get too worried about this right now. This, like I said, as you're, as new modelers, some of this stuff can get pretty overwhelming. So don't get worried about this, and I wouldn't even say mess around, but I do want to show it to you. So if I was gonna go over to here to smooth proxy, and then you go to the proxy subdivision. Some of these, don't worry about some of these other ones here. Okay, so and now I see this has a very large dialog box here. So, but this looks very similar to the regular smooth box, but it has a few other controls in here. So let me go to edit, reset settings. So now if it's by default, you're not going to get very much. So I would hit apply, and you'll see. That's why these controls are very important here, right? So I didn't get the layers, and I didn't get very much for subdivision here, okay? So I'm going to go and hit Control Z. I don't want that. Okay, so I got my cube back. And for this too, I think I'm going to turn on wireframe unshaded, so you can see what's going on here. Yep. So here maybe I do want the subdivision level pretty high. So I'm going to go to 4. Okay? And I don't really want to mess with too many of these. The other things you really want to play around with here is you want to add these two. These will give you your layers. Okay? And then you have a whole bunch of controls down here. So you can just play around with these. Like you can actually set the transparency for your proxy layer here. You can say whether it's going to be, you can pick it, or it's template mode, or it's reference mode. Lots of interesting things here. Okay, so I'm going to hit apply. Okay, so now this is very interesting. So ready to see what's happened here. Okay, so now I have that ball in there, but it's pretty well subdivided from that number 4 there is controlling it. Okay, so I'll just close out of this because I don't need this. And then, like I said over here, you could switch some of these things off. Like I could switch that off. Like later, I don't want to see that thing. I can just turn it off, right? Or if I want to turn off that thing, the smooth object, I could. Okay. I'm not sure. But let me just show you what it looks like now when we pull on this. I'm gonna pull on these points here. So if we do that, just like I was doing before. Now you notice, like this form there's a lot more control to that form there. So this is pretty cool, okay? Scale these. Okay. So, and then all of these, I'm going to scale them this way, and sleeker form like that, okay? And I'm not sure, let me see what happens here. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is going to make it even more interesting. So you can also subdivide the lattice, okay? Oops. So let me do that one more time. Yeah, okay. So that's giving me some more subdivisions on the proxy, okay? So now if I want to kind of move this around with a little bit more finesse, right? So now maybe I want to just hit that one there. Okay, so now look what's happening. So now I have that kind of control there as well, okay? Maybe I want just these two to move down, okay? Maybe I want to scale them in a little bit. Okay, so now you're starting to have something that's got, kind of interesting, okay? Maybe you want to pull these out. Now you can also, the symmetry will work here too. Okay, I want the symmetry, and pull them out, right? So now by messing around with these kind of much lighter forms, you're actually pulling around these objects. And then when you want to not see that, you just switch it on, right? So now you're just seeing the object itself, okay? So that's another kind of interesting way to freeform model things. You can create all these forms with other ways, like surfaces and things like that. But this is a nice way to just want to be free modeling. You don't have to worry about all this technical stuff. You just want to pull and plug in some points. This is definitely a very cool method for doing things. Okay, so there you go. That's proxy modeling. And yeah, we can get on to another lesson. Okay.